Greetings to all, you are watching Wisdom with Anthony. Today I have brought the most awaited topic and most awaited problem also of many of yours. Maybe you belong to the beginner category or intermediate or advanced. Whosoever you are or whosoever category you are, sometimes it can be the problem of even advanced student also, those who can speak fluent English. Sometimes they don't get the ideas or the words in their mind so that their brain is not able to channelize their tongue. First of all, I would like to talk about how to think in English, think and speak. This is the topic that sometimes English comes to the brain, but it doesn't come here. Let me let you know, it is not the matter that English is coming here, but it is not here. No, my dear, the problem is that the brain is thinking in other language and the tongue is opposite way. Both are going in the opposite direction, and the conclusion is that the result is that we are not able to converse. Yes, you heard it correct, 101% correct. My dear, let me let you know, for an example, if I give you, suppose somebody comes, a native speaker of English obviously, native speaker comes and he happened to meet somebody who is a learner of English language, and both when they have the conversation, the native speaker is trying to just convey the message because he is a native speaker, so obviously English will come out through his mouth very comfortably. But on the other hand, somebody who is not an English speaker and who is learning English, when he starts conversing with the person, what happens? He thinks in other language, obviously the language that is his mother tongue. So the problem is that, first of all, when the question is conveyed, the learner, he just translates. Yes, the very first point that I have for you, that is stop translation. He translates into his own mother tongue, then he converts again, the idea is generated in the brain, then idea is generated into an answer, then again it has to be translated, and it is a long procedure, my dear. You need to understand this very fact. That goes too long and it makes the even conversation boring and monotonous. So we need to understand, when the brain is working in other language, your tongue cannot be in other language too. We are forcing our tongue. This is the problem of translation, because as long as you go with the translation, you will get stuck 101%. You will fumble, you will flaw, you will falter, you lot of mistakes and errors you are going to do in your speaking. You know the reason? Because your brain is in the habit of translating. Your brain is working in another language. Unless you train your brain to think in English, you cannot speak English fluently and confidently. That's exactly what we need to understand. Sir, how to remove this problem? How can I stop translation? I need to understand that translation at initial level, that is okay. It is less time. I know that in the initial stage, when you are a beginner, that's okay. We have a little debate for you. Okay, you can go for that. But as you grow in learning, you cannot rely totally on the translation, because it's a long procedure. It takes time. It's time consuming, and moreover that everything cannot be translated because certain things are spoken through the sense. Sir, how can I remove this problem? This is the most important thing that we are going to discuss. I need you to pay your ear here to me, please. How I can stop translation? I know this is not easy, how to think in English. Let me let you know. Suppose somebody is asking you something. Then you're thinking, okay, he asked me where this road access to, or if I could tell him the road to library. Now he is asking, somebody, a stranger, is asking me to let him know about the road or library where it access to. Whether that road access to a library or not. Now if I translate in my own tongue, for an example, he questioned me something and I started translating in my brain, and the answer will be generated in that language, mother tongue, then again I need to translate and to convey it. It is so boring. Nobody will wait for you till there. And do you think so that by translating you are going to have the right conversation? No. That is a mismatch. Instead, what you can do, just when you are alone, see, listen to me very carefully. I'm not talking to you when you are in the conversation. No, these are the things that you need to do alone. These are the practice things. These are drills, the tricks that how can I improve myself? How can I improve myself in thinking in English? Let me let you know. Suppose you are sitting there and suppose you think about today's planning. Okay, today's evening you are planning something. Okay, after coming from the college or after coming from the school, I would just keep my backpack here. Then I will go for little visit in the market, and from a market after buying some certain things, then I would go to my friend's birthday party, and there we will enjoy because he has organized a party in a certain restaurant, and there we are going to meet many friends and we'll enjoy there, we'll celebrate. Like this you can go in the procedure. I know it is not easy. I'm not telling you it is easy, but it is not difficult also too much what we are thinking. I said it is not easy, doesn't mean that it is difficult. It is to be implemented. When you implement it in a consistent way every day, when you are, actually this is not forcing the brain, it is training the brain to think in English. And when you train your brain to think in English, your brain will channelize your tongue. Actually what happens, because my tongue is not the source is here. When I just work upon my source, so it cannot go against it. The fruit will be there 101%. Because I'm working upon the source. For an example, I would like to give you an example of bank. If you have invested here, you can withdraw from here, right? Like if you have invested in the bank, you can withdraw through ATM. So it is like ATM, it is a bank. So we need to invest here. How we need to invest here? We need to think in English. And in order to think in English, we need to get into the practice of how to think in English. You need to talk to yourself. Second point, you need to talk to yourself. First of all, when you stop translating, whatever the ideas are generated in your brain, you need to think those ideas in English. And when you do so, you will find a drastic change. And it is just, maybe you can say it's a sudden change, so it is difficult. Okay, my dear, I can understand. But if you practice, I have practiced it. The result I was not able to get within 3 years, I brought the result in 3 months, believe me. By applying this method, when the moment, the day, the hour I stopped the translation, that was the day that I started speaking English comfortably. Now I am talking to you. If I think in other language and if I just translate, it is not possible for me to speak to you. I think now you are getting what I mean to say. So for this purpose, you need to go to alone and you need to be in the practice in every single day. Speak to yourself. I think each one of us, we have enough time. If we say, okay, we are busy, but we can take those 10 to 15 minutes for ourselves in order to improve. 10 to 15 minutes if you are thinking in English, you're forcing, no problem, force your brain and just train your brain is actually. When it starts translating, stop it. You just tell it, I will ask you to think in English and it will think. God has given us that brain that we can, like anything we can do. We have lots of flaws. We are underestimating ourselves. That's the reason. The moment I know that the translation was the issue in my learning, I removed that. Why should not I remove? And if you come to know this is your problem, I must recommend you remove it today itself. Don't think in other language and you are speaking in one language, thinking in other language. No. It is a contradiction to the brain as well as to the tongue. Both will go in the opposite direction, and when something is pulled, you know it very well what happens. So please stop translating and talk to yourself. This way, you can think, okay, I'll go with this. I will just practice English every day because I know if I practice every day, my English will become good. In this way, small sentences put into the practice, think in English. Whatever the ideas you are getting in your mother tongue, don't accept it. Throw it and say, just my brain, you need to think in English. It will happen in the same way that you are training your brain. But you need to talk to yourself for this. 15 minutes I'm asking you for your life every day. It is for you people, those who want to improve themselves. Because nobody else will do it for you. If you are really in the terms of learning, purely from your heart, if you want to learn, you will have to do this, my dear. And when you implement, believe me, result is yours. Third point I have for you, imagine any situation. Like I told you, you can just imagine any situation that you are going to attend a birthday party, you are going to attend any function, you are to perform, maybe tomorrow is an exam. What you are going to do? Tomorrow you have an interview. You can mock it, no? You can imagine any situation. I have seen many people losing their jobs because of their lack of communication skills. Because they are not fluent in English, they will have to compensate it with the opportunity for the job that they were looking for. They lost their jobs. Their promotion is still not there because they are not able to speak fluent English. In this era, what happens, English is necessary. You know that. It is like a doorway which opens all the opportunities for you. Yes, my dear, if you have been affected, you know what I mean to say. And if you have lost any opportunity just because of your communication skill, you know it better. Nobody can explain it better than you. Imagine a situation, any situation you can imagine, and just try to speak. Suppose a future tense. If you have a problem in any of the grammar topic, little grammar topic, surely we will be discussing. I will start that series also. In that we can find ourselves in a simple way that how can we express ourselves. No need to be too complex with you. Just imagine a situation, but you need to do it every single day. Go in front of the mirror, speak to the person. You know the person you look into the mirror will help you the most. Or just go into the room, start speaking loudly. Think and speak. And how you can think in by listening to more. Listen to the more content. When you listen to the more content, you will speak. Because your brain, it has to get an environment, right? Immerse into the language. How can I immerse into the language? Everywhere in my room, my friends, I need to create an aura around me that my brain only accepts English. Because when automatically, suppose you want to say something, try to speak in with your family members, no problem. Nobody is going to laugh at you. This is our myth. Nobody laughs. When you are learning, whether they laugh or not, that is not our issue. Let them do. Because when we immerse totally in the language, our brain automatically produces into the same language. It starts working in the same language. And when brain is working in the language, believe me, tongue cannot go opposite to that. It's the power of brain. Because as I told you, this is main. Bank is here. Here it says withdraw. It will channelize it. Now I would like to give an example. Maybe a patient you must have heard the patient, those who attacked by paralysis. So what happens? Their left hand side or right side brain, it gets affected, and due to that they are not able to converse. So what happened? Something happened here, but they are not able to converse. So brain is, and when they are okay, when they get cured from their illness, they are as earlier. They can speak. They can behave in the same way. So my dear, I need to make you understand here that power of brain, the power when you give or channelize your brain and when you train your brain to think in English, it gives you the result. Through some examples, I just tried to make you understand so that you can understand the value of your brain, the power of your brain. And then I have point, I love this point, because only the true learners can rely on this. Keep practicing, be consistent. It is the key. You watched my video, you watched some other videos, you get motivated, but next day you are again nowhere. Motivation is good, but discipline actually works for you. When you are disciplined, suppose one day you are not motivated, you won't do, but when you are disciplined, you will do. Love to be disciplined. Because a student is also a disciple. Because the discipline word has come from disciple only. We want to learn English, we want to speak fluent English, but we don't want to be consistent in our practicing. Then it is not possible. This video is not meant for you. This is for those who are like from their heart, they are ready to be consistent in their practice. What to practice? All these points. And believe me, the day will come, you will think, I was there, how could I become fluent speaker in English language? Doesn't matter whichever the background you have come from. But what is the most important thing? You need to apply this method. These are the powerful points that they can help you to think in English. Because thinking comes first, speaking doesn't come, thinking comes first. And when you think English, your tongue will be channelized by your brain. So train your brain to think in English in order to be a good speaker of the language. I hope that you must have enjoyed and liked the video. If you are visiting for the very first time on the video, please do hit the like button, do subscribe the channel, and I will be happy to receive your comments in case your queries. I'll be happy to help you out. So both of us will make your journey a wonderful one, and the day will come when you will become a fluent speaker. I would love to hear from you how you like the video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.